Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about inner child work. Let's just jump right in. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, please click the little subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications when I release new videos. And if you've been with me for a while, thank you so much and welcome back. Today, we're going to jump right into inner child work. It is my favorite subject. You probably know that if you've watched more of my videos. But it's also my favorite subject because it's the most important piece of healing work in my experience and in my opinion. You know, I don't often say this, but I probably read every freaking spiritual book on the planet from age 12 to 30. And my life didn't change that much. And I think that's why a lot of people come back to me over and over, because the work that we do is the work that works. When you read things and think that you understand things, you're not changing anything, you're just understanding something. And the real work happens when we have experiential learning, meaning we apply the learning. When I started applying the learning to my life, is when my life completely shifted. Now, one of the things we have to understand, a lot of people get scared when they start doing the work because things do change, and people are so afraid of change. People are so afraid of uncertainty. People are so afraid of endings to things, new beginnings. And the reason that we're afraid is not really because of our adult version, but because of our inner child wounds. But the other thing is, as we connect with the inner child, we also start to notice that there is this authentic thread to something higher. We start to shift into a deeper trust and surrender with the universe, with how everything is happening for a bigger reason than our little minds can manifest or even understand. And we start to kind of elevate our own perception of reality. So that's where I want to start. What the heck is inner child work? If you know, then you know. The inner child is the part of you that in a way was frozen in time if there was any traumas, if there was any unresolved issues. And you know you have inner child healing to do when you are triggered. What are your triggers? A lot of times with inner child wounds, it's abandonment issues or boundary issues or rejection wounds or unworthiness wounds or just an uncertain identity. It goes on and on and on and on and on. There are many different versions of what a trigger is, but you will notice when you have these triggers, they are patterns. It's not just one time that it happens, but it can trigger an emotional pain body. It can trigger an old trauma. It can trigger you into an emotional place that doesn't even make sense for you. It can feel extreme. It can feel unfun, and you may start doing things that recreate the trauma rather than noticing or even understanding that these triggers are coming up for an opportunity to take a new consciousness into an old situation and heal. But we're not taught that in school. So what we do is we constantly re-traumatize our inner child by treating our inner child and our emotions the way that we were perceived to be treated or were treated. An example of this is, if you reject yourself when others reject you, you are doing exactly what was done to you. What we do in inner child work is we learn how to reparent by becoming the thing you always needed. But so often people don't know how to give themselves permission to do this. The permission slip is a super, super important part of inner child work. But the first thing we need to do to start this work is to acknowledge our inner child. With my clients, I like to do something called an inner. What that is we go inside together, because I'm highly intuitive in these ways. We go inside together and we create a very safe space, and the inner child appears. I've only had one time in all my work where it didn't appear, but by the end of the session it did. Usually our inner child appears immediately. Why? Because all our inner child ever wants is to be acknowledged. When you look at the baseline issues in childhood, I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want to matter, I want to be mirrored. So when we go into ourselves and acknowledge our inner child, it gets really happy. And when we acknowledge our inner child and we start working with the triggers of our inner child, guess what that is? More acknowledgement, more of being seen, more of going towards instead of away. And then what we get to do is we get to upgrade a lot of these misinterpretations, a lot of these traumatic events, a lot of these false beliefs or misbeliefs, and we get to finally integrate ourself into ourself. Inner child integration is the last piece of the puzzle. When you start to heal your inner child and you start to bring her or him with you in all that you do, and you start to let your inner child lead you by telling you what it likes, what creates joy, what's fun, and you start living as if you are that and reparenting at the same time, something really beautiful happens and you integrate with your inner being. When you integrate with your inner child, you start to realize that you are always enough. I'm going to leave that there for today because this is the beginning. I'm going to do a lot of videos on the inner child as I'm relaunching my emotional rehab program and building shadow work, because it's all coming up to the surface for me to revisit, and it's really exciting. It's really fun to share. So again, I should mention shadow work is not going to be released until 2021, but you can get on the wait list. Emotional rehab is open right now, so you can enroll at the discounted price for the month of October. So please check those things out. Please check Truth Room Tribe if you want a community of like-minded people that meet every week, that are a massive energetic support system for highly sensitive people, anyone doing this work. And I hope you guys share this video with one person that you can think of that may benefit. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon.